The relationship between Germany and Adolf Hitler represents one of history's most complex and tragic narratives. Their intertwined story is not merely a chronicle of events, but a profound study of human nature and societal vulnerability. This history was deeply influenced by a confluence of social, economic, and political factors that converged at a critical juncture. Understanding this period requires examining several key areas. We must first explore the pre-Hitler era, identifying the conditions that allowed such a figure to emerge. Next, we will analyze the rise of Nazism itself, tracing its insidious ascent to power. Finally, we will confront the devastating consequences and the lasting impact this era has imprinted upon German society and the world. Germany's history leading up to the 20th century was frequently marked by significant upheaval and profound shifts in national identity. The nation had only recently unified, grappling with its place among established European powers. This underlying instability created a fertile ground for future discontent. The defeat in World War I delivered a catastrophic blow to German national pride and economic stability. The war's end left a nation reeling from immense loss and a pervasive sense of betrayal. This sentiment was exacerbated by the subsequent Treaty of Versailles. The Treaty of Versailles imposed severe economic penalties on Germany, demanding crippling reparations. These financial burdens crippled the nascent post-war economy, leading to widespread poverty and hardship. Beyond the economic impact, the treaty inflicted a deep national humiliation. Germany was forced to accept sole responsibility for the war, losing significant territory and military capabilities. This combination of economic hardship and national shame created a fertile ground for resentment and a fervent nationalist fervor. Many Germans felt unjustly punished and sought a return to perceived former glory. The struggles of the Weimar Republic further compounded these issues. This democratic government, established after the war, faced immense challenges from its inception. Hyperinflation ravaged the economy, rendering savings worthless and destabilizing daily life for millions. Political instability was rampant, with frequent changes in government and numerous extremist uprisings from both the left and the right. Widespread unemployment became a persistent problem, leaving vast segments of the population without hope or prospects. These systemic failures fueled extremist ideologies, including the nascent Nazi Party. The Nazi Party skillfully capitalized on this pervasive public discontent. They offered simplistic solutions to complex problems, promising order, economic recovery, and a restoration of national pride. Their message resonated with a population desperate for change and a scapegoat for their suffering. Adolf Hitler emerged as a figure uniquely suited to exploit Germany's vulnerabilities during this tumultuous period. He was a charismatic orator, possessing an uncanny ability to sway crowds with his impassioned speeches. His skills as a propagandist were equally formidable, crafting messages that tapped into deep-seated fears and aspirations. Hitler expertly exploited Germany's post-war trauma and economic despair. He presented himself as the nation's savior, promising a return to greatness and stability. His rhetoric was carefully designed to appeal to a broad spectrum of disillusioned citizens. Central to his appeal were several key promises. He vowed to restore Germany's national pride and international standing, which he claimed had been shattered by the Treaty of Versailles. He pledged to overturn the treaty's harsh terms, a promise that resonated deeply with a humiliated populace. Furthermore, Hitler articulated a vision of a racially pure Aryan nation, free from perceived internal enemies. This ideology, while abhorrent, offered a sense of belonging and a clear enemy to blame for Germany's woes. His message resonated powerfully with a population desperate for stability, national pride, and a clear direction. Hitler employed a range of methods to gain and consolidate power. Propaganda played a crucial role, disseminating his ideology through newspapers, radio, and films. massive rallies were orchestrated to showcase strength and foster a sense of collective identity and fervor. The suppression of opposition was also a key tactic, initially through intimidation and later through outright violence. The gradual ascent of the Nazi Party was a calculated process, marked by strategic political maneuvering and increasing public support. This culminated in Hitler's appointment as Chancellor in January 1933, marking a pivotal moment in German history. Upon assuming power, the Nazi regime moved swiftly to consolidate its authority, dismantling democratic institutions with alarming speed. Within months, fundamental civil liberties were suspended, and the rule of law was systematically undermined. This rapid transformation laid the groundwork for a totalitarian state. Political opponents, including communists, socialists, and liberals, were outlawed, arrested, and often imprisoned without trial. Concentration camps, initially established for political prisoners, became instruments of terror and control. The establishment of a totalitarian regime was complete, with all aspects of public and private life brought under Nazi control. The regime then began to implement its horrific racial persecution policies. Jews were systematically targeted, stripped of their rights, property, and ultimately their lives. This persecution was not limited to Jewish people. Roma, homosexuals, disabled individuals, and other minority groups were also deemed undesirable by the Nazi ideology. They faced discrimination, forced sterilization, imprisonment, and eventually extermination. These policies were rooted in a pseudoscientific belief in racial hierarchy and purity. The culmination of these policies was the Holocaust, a systematic state-sponsored genocide. 6 million Jews were murdered across Europe, alongside millions of others deemed undesirable by the Nazi regime. This unprecedented atrocity stands as a stark reminder of humanity's capacity for evil. The Holocaust was meticulously planned and executed, utilizing industrial methods of killing. It represented the ultimate expression of Nazi racial ideology and its dehumanizing consequences. The scale and brutality of this genocide remain unparalleled in modern history. The Nazi regime's expansionist ambitions inevitably led to global conflict. Hitler's desire for Lebensraum, or living space, for the German people drove aggressive foreign policies. The invasion of Poland in September 1939 marked the beginning of World War II. This conflict rapidly engulfed Europe and eventually much of the world. The war brought unprecedented devastation, laying waste to cities and infrastructure across the continent. It unleashed a level of violence and destruction previously unimaginable. Tens of millions of deaths resulted from the war, encompassing soldiers and civilians alike. The human cost was staggering, leaving an indelible scar on generations. The conflict reshaped geopolitical landscapes and alliances. Germany's defeat in 1945 brought an end to the Nazi regime. Allied forces liberated concentration camps and occupied German territory. The war concluded with the unconditional surrender of Germany, marking the collapse of Hitler's thousand-year Reich. The end of the Nazi regime was met with a mixture of relief and profound horror as the full extent of its atrocities became known. The world grappled with the aftermath of a conflict that had pushed humanity to its darkest limits. The defeat signaled a new era for Germany and the international community. Beyond the public face of propaganda and military might, the Nazi regime operated through a vast network of hidden operations. These secret machinations were crucial to its power and the execution of its most heinous crimes. The planning and execution of the Holocaust, for instance, involved intricate logistical and bureaucratic systems. These operations were often shrouded in euphemisms and secrecy to conceal their true nature. The regime also invested heavily in the development of secret weapons, including advanced rocketry and jet aircraft. These projects aimed to gain a decisive military advantage, though most came too late to alter the war's outcome. The suppression of dissent was another critical aspect of the regime's hidden work. A pervasive atmosphere of fear and surveillance ensured conformity. Any perceived opposition was ruthlessly crushed, often through clandestine arrests and torture. A vast network for control and concealment underpinned the regime's power. Spies and informants permeated every level of society, reporting on suspected disloyalty. The secret police, the Gestapo, operated with unchecked authority, instilling terror and enforcing obedience. Post-war discoveries gradually brought these secrets to light. The Nuremberg trials, held after the war, exposed the inner workings of the Nazi leadership and their crimes. These trials established crucial precedents for international law and accountability. The opening of archives and the testimonies of survivors and perpetrators further revealed the full extent of the regime's atrocities. These revelations provided irrefutable evidence of the crimes committed and the complicity of countless individuals and institutions. The world began to comprehend the depth of the depravity that had been hidden in plain sight. The history of Germany and Hitler stands as a stark reminder of the dangers inherent in extremism and unchecked power. It illustrates how easily a society can be led astray by charismatic demagogues exploiting national grievances. The events of this era underscore the profound importance of vigilance against such ideologies. This period also highlighted the fragility of democracy, demonstrating how quickly democratic institutions can be dismantled from within. It emphasizes the constant need to protect civil liberties and uphold the rule of law. The lessons learned from this collapse of democracy remain critically relevant today. Crucially, this history emphasizes the importance of confronting historical truths, no matter how painful. Acknowledging past wrongs is essential for healing and preventing their recurrence. Denial or revisionism only perpetuates the potential for future atrocities. Germany's post-war efforts have been a testament to this commitment. The nation has undertaken a profound process of acknowledging its past, confronting the horrors of the Holocaust and the Nazi regime. This acknowledgement has been a cornerstone of its national identity. Germany has also made significant efforts to atone for its crimes through reparations, memorialization, and educational initiatives. These actions reflect a deep commitment to moral responsibility. The nation has successfully built a robust democratic society founded on principles designed to prevent a return to authoritarianism. This commitment to learning from history is a continuous process, not a finite event. It involves ongoing education, remembrance, and active engagement with democratic values. The ultimate goal is to prevent future atrocities and ensure that such a tragedy never again befalls humanity.